because I have seen some people who had worked for many years abroad. However, after returning back to native, in a few years, they were found to be in a distress condition because there were no proper planning for the future, and also the kind of expenses what they were incurring were beyond their savings. So because of these things, I thought it's good to share with all of you certain points which will definitely help in having a better future for all of us. So this is a PowerPoint presentation. Most of the things what I would like to convey to you, I have included in this. Any more things? This is basically a preliminary type of presentation. Maybe we can go into deep to say, one particular subject or individual subjects in separate sessions, because to cover everything in one session it will be difficult. So because of that, as of now we are going for an overlook of all the things, and depending on the response from you, we'll go with the individual ones as you wish, as per your wish. So let's start. So today's subject is expats and financial security. As I told, why this subject? I already told you, because more than the residents Indians, it is we expats who are facing this issue of financial insecurity after returning back to our native. Why expat means, while in India, normally the people in the organized sector, they have got some protective plans from the government side, pensions. Nowadays, even for the unorganized sector, we are having such plans. Whereas for us, unless we intend to have, there is no such protection. So because of that, this, as an expat community, we need to be very careful upon. As I have mentioned, those who carry out proper planning and execute the same while working abroad overcome such distress situation. And the earlier you start, the better, because you get a lot of time to reach the corpus what you require. Now, the aim of this presentation is to help people understand what savings are, what are the necessity for the savings, and what are the different methods available for savings. Now, what are savings? Savings is anything which is left behind our expenditure. So, this savings can happen automatically without anything, because I need to spend this much amount only, so remaining amount is with me, or deliberately. We need to work for that and then make the savings. Ideally, there are certain financial goals which we all have. For attaining those goals, we need to do the savings. So that is it need to be done purposefully, so that we will be able to achieve all those goals. Now, what are the financial goals? What generally occur for all of us? You can see retirement income. When we return back to our native, when we no longer work, we need some money. That is one of the financial goals. Children's education. All of us are going through every day. The expenditure for education is increasing. Children's wedding, building a house, medical emergency is very important. Purchasing a vehicle, and for doing something which we would like to do, but presently we do not have that much corpus in our hand, which we would like to do at a later stage. Also, after going back, we'll be having some recurring expenditures, like say going to our relative's marriage. Normally we'll be giving some presents, and also this kind of expenditure will be coming throughout our period of life. Also, we'll go for a pilgrimage or for a vacation, all those kind of things, or going for some matches, sports, something. Whichever is interesting for you, you might pursue that one, provided you are having resources for that. Now, when you should start saving? Ideally speaking, yesterday. You can start today also. Tomorrow it will be later. So, at the earliest, we should have the intention with us to start saving the amount for the future. Next paragraph I put, mostly it is not applicable for us, but there are some people who are just freshers over here in Kuwait. If they had come, probably they will understand. For the initial, say, 6 months, you need not worry too much of that because it's the time for enjoyment. You are into employment for the first time, and probably you will have to spend also in that manner. Even in those times, you need to save around 30 to 40% of your fund or the salary what you are getting, the initial salaries, in a separate account. You need to make an emergency fund. So for that emergency fund, you allocate your 30 to 40% of the amount. This is, I am telling as a fresher. Remaining 60 to 70% of the amount what we have, that also you need not worry about the savings at all. You can spend it on you can enjoy, because after your study and other things, you have got a job in hand, and you are initially itself, if you are trying to be a miser, it will be difficult. So you spend on yourself, you spend on your family, spend on, say, your grandparents. See, nowadays if you see the flight charges and all are much lesser. If you are in India, you can afford actually to take your parents or grandparents for a trip in a flight. Probably it will be very happy moment for them. So those things and all you can do even in the starting of your career. So basically what I am telling is that initially itself you can save around 30 to 40% and remaining 60% you can spend on things you love to do. One point is that even in the initial stage you should not spend for something which is not necessary. Just as you have amount, that doesn't mean that you need to buy something which is not going to be useful for you. Now, why an emergency fund is important? Actually, as I have written, according to most of the financial experts, you need to have liquid amount of about that can take care for the 6 months living expenses, entire net living expenses. So that much amount you should be having. That is mainly because there is every chance, because of the kind of world we are living in. Nowadays the retrenchment, sudden decisions from the companies and all you can lose a job or something like that. So you should be at least having 6 months of savings. So this amount for the 6 months you need to always keep in your emergency fund, as an emergency fund. The emergency fund, you should not invest in risky places where there is a chance for losing your money. It should be always kept in a safe place. So it can be savings account or it can be a liquid fund, but not in the normal liquidity funds or something like that, where there is a very good chance for risking your capital. So as an emergency fund, you should not do that. It should be in a very safe and accessible this one. Anytime you should be able to take that amount. Now, how much you can save? So I told the initial things when you are a fresher, that time only what was the savings I told. Now, later, after 6 months, or in the stage where we are, initial goal is to achieve that 6 months of living expense. So we can say tell about 10% of the amount you can deposit in that emergency fund until you reach that 6 months living expenses. If that is achieved, you can stop that 10% putting into the emergency fund. Remaining, you have got 90%, of which 10 to 20% you need to invest in some place which can take your money grow. So those things you need to be you need to take care about. That is, for the 10 to 20% of your salary, you need to invest in some instrument which can make your money grow. So for that, so 10 plus or 20 plus 10, 30 means remaining 70% only is your salary. You will have to live with that salary, that is 70% of your salary. Initially itself you should consider, say if your salary is say 1000 KD, consider it as only 700 KD, and we'll have to live with that 700 KD. And what should be included in that is including everything, including any loans you have taken, or say any EMIs. If you are in India and all, maybe you'll be having some bikes purchased. So normally for commutation, if the company is not providing, probably you need some kind of a vehicle. So basic vehicle initially will be a bike. So what I'm telling is that including everything, doing the EMI for that, everything should be included in the credit card, yes. And of course, try to save as much as possible. Now, what are the different methods of saving? As I told earlier, I'm going a little bit basic because many of you will be having much more knowledge in the initial, many of the things, but still I would like to repeat that because certain people are there who are not into this still. So you've got savings accounts in banks, fixed deposits in banks, investment in stocks, investment in mutual funds, investment in bonds, real estate, commodities and annuities. We'll go one by one to all these things. So savings account, almost all of us know that we have got provision to open an NRE account or an NRO account or FCNR account. These are the things generally it is applicable for expat community. Now looking at the NRE account actually can hold and maintain foreign currency in Indian rupee. That is, you can send the, for example, Kuwaiti dinar to India and store in that account in Indian rupee. This is the NRE account. This NRE account is fully repatriable. If you want to take back that amount from the bank in India, it is possible, fully repatriable. There is no tax implications on the interest generated from NRE account. Also, in case of if you are going to have a joint account, say with your wife or brother or mother, father, something, both of all the persons in that joint account should be or having NRI status. So you can have with your wife only if the wife is an NRI. If not, it is not possible. It will be an individual account only. Next is NRO account. NRO account actually helps us to manage the amount which is generated in India, that is in Indian rupee. In NRE, you cannot put your the money which is earned in India. For example, if you have got a house which is rented out, that amount you cannot put in the NRE account. It can be put only on the NRO account. The NRO account, it can receive money in foreign currency as well as Indian money. And the thing is that the interest earned is taxable. Currently, it is having 30% of tax plus education cess. So net coming, it is 31.2% of your tax of your interest they will be taking as tax. And I would like to inform that regarding this, India and Kuwait have entered into double taxation avoidance treaty, through which actually we can reduce the tax implication from 31.2 to 10%. So if you produce the tax residency certificate, your banks can cut only 10% as the tax from the interest gained. This is one question. Can you have an NRE account and a resident account simultaneously? No, you cannot have, because In India, when you are a resident, you were having one NRE account, resident account. If you become an NRI, you cannot hold that one. You need to convert that resident account to an NRO account if you want to put the Indian money. Can you transfer from NRE to NRO? Yes, it can be done. There is no problem in transferring from NRE to NRO. Whether we can transfer from NRO to NRE, it is possible on certain conditions. Certain condition means earlier it was not at all possible, but nowadays it's possible because government is allowing us to take the amount which has been deposited in from the foreign money in an NRO account. You can take back to NRE account. It is possible. But if the source of income is from India, it cannot be done. And also there is a limit of $1 million in a financial year that you can maximum take back to the NRE account. Next is fixed deposits in bank. Almost everybody knows that fixed deposits are some fixed term account, the deposits what we are doing for a given sum for an agreed upon time. Normally fixed deposits, it has the more interest than the savings account. Savings account nowadays it's very less only. Every year by year the interest rate is coming down. Even for FD it is down, but still it is much better than the savings account. So if you have got some money that you know that is not going to be used in the immediate future, you can put it in the fixed deposits. The source of fund in the FDs can be from NRE or NRO account. If it is from NRE account, it is not taxable, but whereas if it is from NRO account, it is taxable as I told, the 31.2 or 10%. Provided you give the tax residency certificate. So, and in the NRE FDs also, premature withdrawal, it is a problem. It's an issue there because within a year, if you are breaking that FD, you will not be getting any interest. Your principal only you will be getting. So, you need to be sure that you are going to have this money as you will not be required to take it, then only you put it in the FD. Also some banks, they are taking penalty as well. If you break early, they are taking the penalty as well. Now there is something called FCNR account. This FCNR account, how it is different from NRE account is that NRE account, you pay the amount in the currency over here, you get in Indian rupee. Whereas in FCNR account, your deposit will be the same currency which you are depositing from here. So this, for example, in Kuwaiti dinar, I don't think FCNR is there. We are having in US dollars, euro, yen, there are certain currencies, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, etc. There are some more dollars, some more currencies which you can open an FCNR account. Now FCNR account, why it is advantageous is because in the FCNR account, your interest earned also will be in that currency only. Say if you are deposited in US dollars, your interest also will come as in US dollars only. And not only that, the entire amount, it can be repatriable. You can bring back that amount if you want to from the foreign country itself. You can take back the entire amount. There is some fixed term for this one. Minimum is 1 year and maximum is 5 years. Below this or beyond this is not possible. Maybe after completion of that, you'll have to renew with the rates which is prevalent at that particular time. FCNR accounts, joint accounts are permitted with another NRI and resident Indian. Then also the FCNR can continue till the mature rate even if you have returned back to India. Say, if you return back to India also, you can continue this FCNR account until the maturity of the contract. Further to that, it can be changed to either to Indian rupee, or if you go back to NRI status, again you can continue to send in an NRI format itself. There is one more account called resident foreign currency account. If you go back in the previous slide, I didn't mention that one. In the FCNR account, if you have returned back to India and after completion of this term, you want to maintain it in that currency itself, then probably you'll have to go to the RFC account, that is resident foreign currency account. Resident foreign currency accounts can be maintained by resident in foreign currency. These accounts are specially useful for NRIs who return to India and would like to have these deposits in the foreign currency itself. This is mostly applicable for people who are coming from, say, UK or US and all. For us, to open an FCNR account, probably you need to have a double conversion. Like we need to convert it into US dollars and then deposit. Anyhow, this this interest earned on the RFC account is taxable. However, the status of the account holder, if he is a resident, then it is not taxable. But if you are an RNOR means resident, but not ordinarily resident. These terms are a little bit difficult, and probably I don't know whether you'll be remembering it or not, but just wanted to just go through that one. RNOR. So if you have an RNOR, you can, it is taxable. RNOR is a special status given to an NRI returning to India. RNOR in India can continue to enjoy tax benefit like NRI. He need to pay this, for the amount which you have earned in India. Otherwise, there is no tax. Also, RNOR can enjoy tax benefit on foreign income. Now, a resident Indian also can have RNOR, provided he satisfies two conditions. That is, even though he is a resident, he has gone abroad and worked in, he was not in India for at least 2 years in the last 10 years. Or, if he has been in India for 729 days or less, that is less than 2 years, in the last 7 financial years, and now he is a resident, he can be given an RNOR status. An NRI also can be given RNOR status if he has been an NRI for 9 years out of the last 10 years. And he will be given the RNOR status only for 1 year. If we get back to NRI, then it becomes, say, the normal NRI itself he will become. If the NRI has been in India for less than 2 years, in the last 7 financial years, then also he is eligible for becoming an RNOR. Now, what are the advantages of fixed deposits? This is the most basic thing what we are all doing. Safe investment and guaranteed returns. There is absolutely no risk unless you deposit in some different kind of banks. Generally, if you go with the nationalized banks or the most popular private banks, it's a very safe investment. And the interest rates as compared to savings account is high, and it is compounded quarterly. Fixed tenor, safeguard your money and gain reasonable returns. And if you are in need of any emergency, you need some money, then instead of breaking the FD, you can take a loan also with this FD as the guarantee. That is also possible. Then you can get interest paid according to your wish. Like you can choose monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or the FDs offers higher interest rate for the senior citizens. Now, what are the disadvantages of these? Low returns. There are certain things which we need to see. As I told earlier, liquidity. If before maturity, if you are going to take the amount out, you will have to pay the penalty, and if it is within 1 year, you will not be getting any interest at all. Then low returns. When it compared to other short-term market-linked investment, it is having low returns. Then this third point can be considered as a positive as well as negative. FDs are insured under the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Scheme of India, but only up to 1 lakh per bank. That means if you are having more than 1 lakh also, in case that bank fails, you'll be getting only 1 lakh maximum per bank. So if you want to put FDs, better to put in different banks as well. Then primary cooperative banks generally have no insurance coverage. The bigger insurance, the cooperative banks are having, but the primary, like say Tamarisheri Cooperative Bank or something like that, if they start, probably it will not be having Tamarisheri, just as I told. I don't know whether it is having or not. Such a bank is existing or not. FDs, the last point is very important. FDs generally cannot beat the inflation rate. This is one issue which we generally see. Now, we would like to see what is actually inflation. Inflation, it is actually the erosion in value of the money what we are having. See, now I provided one example. I was able to get a cup of tea for 50 paise way back in 1990 in a nearby hotel in my native place. Had I put that 50 paise in a cupboard and now I want to have a tea and give that 50 paise to the hotel owner, he will not give me tea. Because now the cost is roughly around 10 rupee. So what should I have done? I should have invested that 50 paise in some instruments that will make the amount grow to 10 rupee in last 19 years. This is just to show how inflation works. Inflation means at that time we were not having this much cost of living. Now it is much higher. As a simple example, from 50 paise to 10 rupee in 19 years, it's how many times you can just calculate. So to overcome that is the last what we have told. I should have invested that in some particular instrument or multiple instruments that it can take the amount to the current required value. Now let's go to the stocks. Stocks is a little bit delicate subject because it has got its own advantages and disadvantages. A share of stock means you have got the ownership of the company. Say you buy a stock of Infosys, you also become owner of Infosys. To some particular percentage, it will be less or more, whatever it is. Stockholders can buy or sell the shares through a stockbroker and a stock exchange. Both are required. Now, if you are a stockholder, what are the facilities you have got? You can have the time to time they will be giving the dividends that you can avail. You can have the bonus shares, what they are providing. You can have the facility of stock splits, rights issue, voting rights. When certain important decisions are taken, one annual general body meeting will be there in which you have got the right to vote. Even through online, you can say yes or no to the proposal what they are making. So your voice is heard. And what is a stock exchange? A stock exchange is a marketplace for stocks. This is a market from where we pick those stocks. At the given value, if you are interested, you can buy it or sell it. It's a place for stock. The stock exchange is such a marketplace. Now India, we have got many stock exchanges, but most popular are BSE and NSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, where 99% of the trade is taking place. Now, for investment in stocks, whether NRI can do? Yes, NRI can do. This is permitted by RBI in the FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. A portfolio investment scheme has been defined for NRIs to purchase and sell shares of Indian companies. This can be done on repatriation or non-repatriation basis. Repatriation, where how? If you are buying the shares with the money from NRI Zerodha, if you see they are not having this, say, PIS account, they are not having. They are having a trading account as well as demat account. But they ask you to open account for the PIS account in some particular banks. For example, in Zerodha's case, they are asking to open account either in Axis Bank, ICICI Bank or Yes Bank. They have got some mapping between these banks and Zerodha. So like this. But before you go to any of those people, you have to look at this one, because Zerodha is one broker who starts very less commission. But it has got its own plus and minus, especially it is very advantageous if you are in India. Outside, it's not having that much of advantage. NRIs are having not have that much of this one. But you can look at the rates. Some are, for example, the Canmoney and all is charging 0.35%, whereas HDFC is charging 0.55%. Why to lose money? So those things you need to consider before selecting the stockbroker. Now, this sheet, I don't know whether I should still show or not, because this is actually a one which is a trap, in the sense, previous trends indicate that investment in good stocks result in greater returns that can beat inflation. This is 100% true, but I'll go to the negatives in that one. Second thing is that American investment bank Morgan Stanley has predicted in next decade, from the present 39 something, it will go reaching 100,000 or Sensex. Motilal Oswal has gone one step ahead. They told that we will reach 150,000 as a Sensex. So these are all giving you rosy pictures. But actually whether you will be benefited with that, we'll see in the next few slides. So also that one example, if you had invested 1 lakh rupees in Infos in the year 1995, you would have got 5.25 crores in 2014. So that means, is there any other instrument where your money can grow this much? I doubt. This is very important. We should always focus on Warren Buffett's two-rule mantra. First is, rule number 1, never lose money. And rule number 2 is, never forget rule number 1. So this should be our aim, that you should never lose money in shares. Over long periods, equity has been able to deliver higher than inflation-adjusted return compared to all other asset classes. This is a fact, but there are so many people who have lost their entire earnings in this stock as well. So you should be very, very careful in this aspect. Before taking any step forward, you should think twice whether you are remembering that Warren Buffett's 2-point rule. Is there any chance for you to lose the money? That you should be very, very careful, and then only you take that decision. Now, investment in stocks, secret of success is disciplined investment for a sufficient time. You need to give sufficient time for your money to grow. There are certain stocks where you can purchase and sell immediately, but that and all are like gambling only. A beginner, if you are not into the share trading yet, you should be very careful. As a beginner, you should invest only in very good stocks. Excellent stocks only you should invest. It should be in the large cap. It should be among the large caps also, you should be investing only in the less volatile one. Why I am telling is that there is a chance, even if you look at the large caps, there are some certain funds or the stocks which has gone down over the time. So it's always better, as a fresher I am telling, again stressing on the fresher fact, you need to be, initially you should be very careful. You should invest on only safe, very good large cap stocks. For a smaller amount also, you should not invest your entire amount for that on that stock. And you should feel how much is the effect of these stocks over the period of time. Now, while buying stock, some stocks will be available for say 10 rupee. There will be stocks which are available for 2000 rupee. You need not be worried about 2000 rupee or 10 rupee. With 10 rupees, say if you are having 10,000 rupees, you can buy say 1,000 shares. Whereas you can buy only 5 shares of the 2,000 rupees. Better buy the 2,001 because it is already proven. It has grown to that level after going through a lot of struggles which they were able to overcome. So you always invest in good sound stocks. This is very important. Do not go with the lesser rate, go with the sound stocks. And when it comes to stable stocks, always we tell about blue chips. Blue chip companies. Which companies are called blue chips? As I told earlier, these are well-established companies with stable earnings and no external liabilities. And they are having a very good management in those companies where they have consistently performed across the business cycle and they have the resources to overcome all the hurdles which is coming towards them. And in long-term prospects, blue chips are outstanding. Again, you should not be say now it is a blue chip, but you should not keep your eyes closed. You should always keep your eyes open. There can be chances even for the blue chips for the fortune to change because of various factors, which is not only related to that particular company because of the government policies. It can be due to other competitors. So many things are there. So you should be very careful even in blue chips. Now, this is one negative point. If an investment is made in stocks, unlike an FD, there is no guarantee for your capital. You can get more, even your capital can get eroded, depending on the stock where you have invested. It is advised to do a thorough research and then only take the plunge, as companies can go bust. I can tell you, there was one company called Ashtavinayak Cinevision. This was a movie, Ashtavinayak was producing so many hit movies like Dabang, Petta Beta, so many movies were there. One fine day, they wound up. They had taken some loans until the last movie what was released was Bol Bachchan. But still for the investors, they got nothing. Though movies were super hits, Dabang was one of the biggest hit ever in Indian screen, but still what the investor got? Nothing. Those people, who are managing the company, if they are not right, you will be in a loss. So you should be very careful to do a thorough research and then only invest. Identifying investment opportunities that yield outstanding returns, that requires a lot of skill. It requires a lot of hard work and also a lot of patience. This is very much required. Before investing, again, let me tell, you should not be carried away with the chance of getting returns. It is very important to do this research. Now, are you capable of doing that research? Yes, possible if you have got enough time to devote for that exercise. If not, what to do? If you are working elsewhere and you want to invest it in, say, you need to take the advice of the experts who are in that field. Or you can go to another, say, instead of stocks, you can go to a better mutual funds or something like that. Now, what are dividends? This is, as I told, there are some benefits which as a stockholder you will get. Dividends are the portion of money from the profit which the company gives to each of the stockholder. So as a owner of some particular stock, you also will be entitled for some certain amount of dividend, provided that company is on profit. If there is no mandatory requirement that even if it is a profit, they need to give you dividend, they can utilize it for some, say, future expansion of their industry or something like that. But again, that decision will be taken in AGM where you have got a voice whether you go with the decision to not pay the dividend and go for the new projects or not. But generally, the management will be having more shares with them. That is why they are on the director board and all. So, but still, you can have your say, depending which they may have a relook for the decision as well. So the dividends, normally companies pay. If it is in between a financial year, it is called an interim dividend, and if it is at the end of the financial year, it is called the final dividend. So both ways it is get, and it is always good to get the dividends. If you have invested in good stocks, definitely you are going to get dividends, which is a source of income for all of us. Then it is this is another thing for the privilege for the as a stockholder is the bonus issue. Bonus issue, it's like dividend only, but not paid in money. Instead, they are paying it as an additional stock. If you are having, say, one stock and they have announced a 1:1 bonus share, your stock will be added. One more stock will be added to your account. That is, you will be owning 2 stocks with it. So that means bonus share is a stock dividend allotted by the company to reward the shareholders. Now, what will happen if they give a share, an addition as this one, the value will drop. Immediately market will adjust accordingly, the value will drop. When the value is dropped, more investors will buy. So this is one advantage, more demand will be there. So there is chance for value appreciation. Next is stock split. Stock split also, say initially if your face value of your share is say 10 rupee, and now they have announced stock split. What will happen is that if for example 1:2, if a stock split is done, then for every one stock you own, you will be getting 2 stocks. So, but the face value of 10 rupee will be halved. That will become 5 rupee only. So you will be having 2 5 rupees shares. So this means how it is different from bonus is that bonus your face value doesn't get changed, whereas in stock split your stock value gets changed. Again, for this also, immediately the market will adjust itself and the amount will be come down, and again the demand for the people who can afford to buy that, it becomes more. So again, chances for value appreciation is there. Third is rights issue. Rights issue is that if a company want to have some more amount for some projects, what they will do? They will first ask existing shareholders to give that money. How? Through rights issue. They will be giving you additional shares, but at a discounted price. Say if a share is having say 100 rupees, they will give you for say 80 rupee or 85 rupee if you are an existing shareholder. That some particular date will be announced. In that date, if you are having say how many shares, according to that you will be given a specially privileged or lesser discounted rate shares. So this is different from bonus shares is that bonus you don't need to invest any amount, whereas for the rights issue you need to spend some money. Now is mutual fund. Thank you. You might have seen the advertisement, mutual fund Sudhir hai, which is very true. Compared to any other investment, the risk in mutual funds are much lesser. Anybody can invest with an amount of as low as 500 rupees, you can start investing in mutual funds. So, mutual funds sahi hai, provided you invest in right mutual funds. There are mutual funds which have gone down, but again, compared to stocks, this is much better. The chance for losing is much lesser. A mutual fund is a type of financial vehicle made up of a pool of money collected from many investors. So that means you invest some amount, X, Y, Z, all invest the amount, they give amount to one particular person or a company. They invest with your money, he will invest in multiple stocks. Multiple stock means, normally when you are buying a share, you will be buying that particular share or a second share, but you will not be able to buy 100 shares. Now with 500 rupees, as low as 500 rupees, you are having investment in different, minimum of 100 companies you are able to invest. So what is the advantage? You get, first of all, this is done by a professional who is expert in this. You get a professional doing the work for you. Next, you get a diversified portfolio. That is, you are having investment in many companies. So even if one company fails, doesn't matter because 99 companies are there to save you. And as the last point, the mutual fund when they are starting, they will be having some objective stated. So to achieve that this goal, they will be working accordingly. Now, as I told earlier, mutual funds give small or individual investors access to professionally managed portfolios of equities. It's not easy for us to have that much. If you want to hire somebody, it will be having a lot of amount for who can tell you to invest in which stock and all those things. Now instead of that, in mutual funds, you get this services of such expert people for a very less amount. So it's a professionally managed. Also, a share of mutual fund represents investment in different stocks, as I told, and instead of one holding. That's why the price of the mutual fund share is referred as net asset value. Net asset value means among all the companies what they have invested, what is the value. In stocks, it is always the value gets changed with every moment. Say now the value is 100 rupees, next moment it will be 101 or 99, like that it will vary. Whereas the mutual funds, they will take the value, net asset value will be calculated at the end of the day only. So it will be remaining constant until end of the day. And how it is derived? It is derived by dividing the total value of the securities in the portfolio by the total number of shares held by all shareholders. So it is just how much you have invested. Say X amount you have invested in N companies. What is the returns from those N companies? And divided by the number of shareholders. So like that, the NAV is calculated. Now, mutual funds can be purchased or redeemed at the current NAV. As I told earlier, that point I had covered already. Second point also already covered. The risk in mutual fund is spread when you compare with the purchase of individual stock. This also I had told earlier. So now let's go to different type of mutual funds. There are different type of mutual funds like equity funds, debt funds, balance funds and all. So which one you should select? So that depends on your appetite, where you want your money to be invested. It solely depends on you. So what are the difference between these three categories? Between equity, debt and balance. Equity means the amount what you have given to the investing company, they will be investing in stocks. Which kind of stocks they can invest, that will be defined in their portfolio itself, depending on the mutual fund what you are taking. It can be small cap, it can be middle cap, mid cap, or can be large cap. So based on which they will invest that amount in those companies. So again, there are some different investment approaches called aggressive growth, income oriented, value and others. Also, the equity funds are expected to give higher returns than other two categories. But of course, when you are investing in equities, the risk is more compared to others. Now let's go to the debt funds. Debt funds are the most safe ones among the mutual funds. Definitely you will be getting that amount without much of the risk. Only thing is that the amount what you get is taxable more. The other one also is taxable, but at a lesser rate, whereas debt funds are having more tax. So, and it is tax deduction at source itself. Now, what is a balance fund? Balance fund is between a balance between equity and debt funds. I didn't tell about the debt funds. Actually, debt funds, they invest in bonds, fixed deposits and all those things, so that the amount, there is a guaranteed return for the investing company. So that is how the debt funds are. That balance fund means it is a balance between growth in equity as well as a balance the debt. So the risk is comparatively lesser and there is a chance of growth. There is another type called index fund. Index funds, all other funds are having some particular charge by the investing manager who is managing things. He needs some amount for his, say they do the investment only after doing some thorough research. So all those things require a lot of money. Whereas for the index fund, no much thinking is required. You invest the money based on the index. Say you invest in Nifty 50 index. No need to look at do any research. Top 50 companies in the Nifty you invest. So the expenditure for that is less. But if the Sensex goes up, your Nifty 50 stocks go high and you will get returns. So in a way it is much, there is a very good chance for appreciation because over the period the returns have increased. Now what are the disadvantages? If at all it is going down, if the index is going down, of course you don't have any low limit, it can go down. All 50 companies might go down. Say if you had decided to, for some particular purpose, you wanted to withdraw the money from the mutual fund what you had invested, and that particular day if the stock values or the Nifty has gone down, your NAV will be less and you will be getting lesser amount. So those things you need to take care while withdrawing. This strategies requires less research. These funds are designed for people who want passive investing. That is, the fund is not dependent on a fund manager, as I told. No research is required. It will be going on the top. Say this need not be Nifty 50 itself. It can be next 50. That is from 51 to 100 in the Nifty. There are different. Nifty Bank is there, but it goes with the index. Now, if you see, if you invest, you have got some amount, say bonus or something like that, you have got 5 lakhs in your hand, you invest in one particular mutual fund. Unfortunately, if it doesn't perform well, what will happen? The value of your 5 lakhs will get eroded. So, to overcome such situation, what you do it in a systematic way. Invest that 5 lakhs in multiple stages. Say you can invest every month some particular amount, say 5,000 rupees, you invest over the period. So what happens is that if that particular mutual fund has gone down, you will be purchasing next 5,000 more number of mutual funds, more units you will be buying. If it is going up, then initial ones you will be having appreciation. Even though you are buying less, you will be almost tracking the returns. So it's always good to invest in the systematic investment plan. So as I told earlier, you can invest in regular intervals, that is monthly, quarterly or half yearly. And SIP works best for long term. If you stay invested for long term, I'm sure you'll be getting an excellent result. Sufficiently long time you should invest. Disciplined approach helps you to hedge the investment against inflation, because this really looks a very good opportunity to hedge the inflation. Whatever inflation is coming, systematic investment plan is an instrument which can help you to achieve those targets, even to overcome that inflation. Now, there is another thing called systematic withdrawal plan. Say you have invested some amount and you have gone back to India and you want a regular income. Every month you want to get some money back. What do? You assign a systematic withdrawal plan. Say you have got sufficient units over there. So every month they will be selling certain units and giving you some amount which you have decided. Say I have decided to get 5,000 every month. What is the number of units that need to be sold to get me 5,000 units? The fund manager will do and will deposit that 5,000 in my account. It can be that manner, or else it can be with the number of units as well. Say, I have decided to sell 10 units every month. So they will sell that 10 units every month, irrespective of whatever be the rates, and give that amount to me. So whatever it is systematically you are withdrawing from it. The disadvantage is that when you are withdrawing, your capital getting lesser and lesser. So you need to have sufficient amount to cover a lengthier period. Because otherwise, maybe after few years or few months, maybe your capital becomes zero. So from next month onwards, you will not be able to get the required amount. So early you start, make the corpus at the maximum available. Also, when the market is low, if the value has gone down at the time, for achieving that 5,000 rupees, they need to sell more units. So your corpus gets narrowed very easily. Another thing is that exchange traded funds. It is almost like index funds only, but index funds are mutual funds, whereas exchange traded funds are like stock. You can trade in the market. It is just like using the broker and stock exchange. These things are done. It's the last one that was one. Index funds are mutual funds and ETFs are traded like stocks. And let's look at what are the different exchange traded funds available. Equity exchange traded funds are there. These, like as I told earlier, like an index fund, these are you invested in different equities, like what you tell the index funds only, but only difference is that you can get the trading done like stock. The value will vary in between the day also, intraday also the value changes. Whereas for index funds, mutual funds, it will be at the end of the day NAV only. And this also goes with the Nifty 50 or Nifty Bank, whatever it is, like index mirroring only. It is very transparent and have lower expense ratios compared to mutual funds. So it's a good type of investment, equity exchange traded funds. Next is gold exchange traded funds. There are, you want to invest in gold, but the amount what you give will, the fund manager will be giving exchange. Now, say not in the fund, the exchange, gold exchange traded funds are products that can combine the flexibility of stock investment but in the investment in the commodity like thing. For example, the gold. So whenever the gold rate increases, this value increases. If gold rate goes down, this value also go down. But again, it's a passive instrument and are based on the gold prices and invest in gold bullion. Again, it has got very low expenses only compared to the mutual funds. Now there are some more something called the global equity exchange rate fund. These funds, they invest in foreign, say like similar to our saying service, very less premium compared to the whole life insurance. Still, our people mostly depend on the whole life. Whole life means you will be getting some money back policies. Say after attaining 55 years or 60 years, you will be getting X amount. Okay, I will invest this. But if you see how much premium you are paying, this will be more than 10 times of the premium of the term insurance. Instead of that, if you are investing that remaining amount in some other instrument like stocks or mutual funds, you will be getting much higher amount in your 55 years than this. But they try to sell mostly the whole life insurance because the commission is much higher. I don't know whether any LIC agents are here, they will not be liking it. Whole life insurance, as I told, it will be maybe attractive but expensive, high premiums for the coverage you need. Even with the high premiums, you will be getting lesser coverage than the term insurance. So term insurance, you can get even 1 crore with a much lesser amount, say the whole life insurance of about 10 lakhs. So that much difference it comes. Better to buy a high coverage term insurance at a much lower premium and investing the difference in higher yielding financial instruments, as I told. That is much better option available. But definitely you need to have insurance. Now next is pension plans. When you say about pension plans, when you are going back, what are the things you require? First of all, you should be healthy. Without health, even if you go back, it's very tough to lead a good life. So you need to have good health, you need to have a house to stay, and you need to have an income, regular income coming to you. So the best way for regular income is assured pension plan. Now, there are different types of pension plans. This is one thing which sponsored by the government, which is called Atal Pension Yojana. But the amount is very less only. It's a contributory type of pension fund. At the maximum, you can get 5,000 rupees. It ranges between the pension will be between 1,000 rupees and 5,000 rupees. This minimum guarantee is the amount is guaranteed by the government. So there is 100% security in going with these kind of pension plans, and it is administered by the PFRDA, that is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. The minimum age for joining this pension yojana is 18 years and the maximum is 40 years. You need to pay until you attain 60 years, and after 60 years you will be starting getting the pension. So that means if you are joining at the year of, if your age is 40, 20 years you need to pay the premium. If it is, if you are joined at 18 years, you have to pay for 42 years. Once you reach 60 years, this stops and they start to give pension. If you are joined in the younger age, the pension, the premium will be much lesser, very less. 40 will be comparatively it is higher, but still the premium is very low for this. It's a good option available for all of us. Other pension plans are the LIC is having Jeevan Akshay, Jeevan Nidhi, SBI is having, HDFC having different policies, ICI, Reliance. These are all popular plans available. Some are good, some are not that good, but still on a general outlook, all these things are better. The thing is that I'll go to the Jeevan Akshay, which is, for me, I felt this is the better one. It's a single premium plan. Single premium means you pay some X amount today, next month onwards you start getting pension. If you invest higher amount, you will be getting better pension throughout life. Now, Jeevan Akshay, the advantage is that if, say, I have insured for some particular amount, or I have paid a premium of particular amount and I am getting X amount, say I am getting every month 10,000. In case of my death, this 10,000 will, my wife will be receiving it. Even after her death, this amount, whatever corpus which I had donated or invested, that will be going to the nominee, say our children. So that money is always there and we get a continuous supply of money. This requires no medical examination, and if you are going to purchase it online, 1.5 lakh is the minimum required amount, whereas if you are going with the agents and all, it is only 1 lakh. If you go with the online, the advantage is that you will be getting a little bit more amount every month as premium. Some slight amount it will be there. By the way, I have taken this. I have taken offline only because I was looking at that particular person who was selling that LIC policy, who was in dire straits. So because for helping them only, I went to, instead of going with the online policy, we went to the offline one. But that depends on this one. Offline, online is giving you better returns. Concerns about pension plans is that most of the pension plans, what I have told is an assured one. You will be getting whatever amount they have told, it will be there throughout the period. Whereas most of the plans are market linked. So if the fund performs better, they will be giving you the amount what they had guaranteed. If it doesn't, if the market has gone down or where they had put the money hasn't worked out well, there is no assurance. So this kind of risk should we take, especially on the pension what we are depending upon? I will not, because investment of pension funds in market is highly risky. Other things, your investment you can keep separately, but pension you should be going with the assured one. That is, personally I feel that is the best option available. Then now a lot of private companies have come. Private companies are good. They are performing well managed, everything is there. But I fear from certain things which has happened in US. When the economy meltdown came, about 13 insurance companies in US broke. It is not that those insurance companies were bad. From 1912 or something like that, they were working until this few years back. They were continuously working. It was good companies, but finally during economic meltdown, they couldn't survive. So those things, yes, we need to be very concerned about. Private has got more chance than that. In that manner, LIC, I feel, is a safer option for pension funds especially. There might be other funds. If you want to increase your corpus, they might be giving something related to market. That is okay. Depending on your appetite, you can go with that. But if you are going with the pension plans, I recommend better to do a detailed analysis before taking that step. The disadvantage of the things like Jeevan Akshay is that it might not beat inflation. I am getting 10,000 today, but 10,000 after say 10 years or 20 years will be very less. So if you want to beat inflation, better to take this annuity which you get at a later stage. Now it is the LIC itself is having certain other policies where you get this, like not like immediate pension plan, a delayed pensions will be there. So that is also an option available. That's okay. So almost done. Conclusion: saving for the future should be started at the earliest, as soon as possible, as soon as the first 6 months of your job is over, start saving. Even in the first 6 months, as I told, for emergency fund, that is the second one, emergency fund, through which you can survive for at least 6 months, is very much required. That should be created. Then third is wealth creation should be done very carefully, utilizing different options available like bank deposits, stock market, commodities, mutual funds, real estate, whatever it is. All these things you need to for the wealth creation. Insurance is a must. Definitely it is a must, but should not be considered as an investment. It is not at all an investment. It is an insurance only. It is ensuring that your family is not going down in your absence. Then, your method of regular income, even after retirement, should be ensured. That is very must, because most of the people fail to do this last point. All other things they might be doing, they fail to ensure that they get a regular income after we return back. Again, I got some example of our relatives. We have seen when we were children, they were working abroad in very good state. They used to come take us out for something which we were not. It was not possible during this for us, for our parents. They used to do But after they return back, say about 10 years, 15 years down the lane, everything what they had was eroded. And they, at that stage of life, that is almost reaching 60, started working again because to survive. By the time the husband expired, wife has to take care of the child, very difficult situation, marriage, so many things were there. So she started working. So these kind of things, to avoid these kind of eventualities, you should ensure when you are here itself, you should plan accordingly that you get a regular income even after you return back home. Now, these are some good resources you can refer to. You need to refer to. This will be really helpful for you. freefincal.com, then subramoney.com. This Asan Ideas of Wealth is a Facebook group where they ask a lot of questions. It will be very useful for you. You can be a member in that group and get benefited. So many things, the doubts what you are having or which you wouldn't have thought about also comes into discussion over there. Some people are there, I think they are Gujaratis or somebody, who give excellent reply to, if you can ask anything. It can be even not related to the investment, something outside for buying suggestions depending on the everyone's the actual requirement. So that's a very good Facebook group, Asan Ideas of Wealth. These are all things which doesn't require any money. You can go freely available. This I wanted to tell on some particular point. There are two types of experts available for investment. One is who charge an amount from you to give you expert advice on which stocks to invest, which mutual fund to invest, all those things. They are professionals in that field. They charge you, say monthly or yearly charge they'll be giving, and they give you update. They maintain your portfolio. They do it for you, all those things, but they don't have any commission or anything like that. It is up to you if you want to invest in that one. But they are professionals. After making all the study, they give. So such people are there in that first one, freefincal.com. They charge money from the client upfront and do not earn any commission from the products. They are only called fee-only planners. These are government authorized people only, very good people. You can, if you go to their website, you can get a lot of people available. You can choose anyone. There is no thing that you should go to this particular person or anything like that. You can go to anyone. All are equally good. Thing is that for them, that money whatever you are giving, that is the only earning for them. They do not get any commission from the investment what you are going to make. There is second kind of people who doesn't take any money from you, but will be getting commission from the funds what you are investing. Those things they charge you the higher amount, not like this one. The investment requirement will be much higher, like portfolio management system. This again, I need to tell some example of portfolio also. Portfolio management scheme. Again, you should not be blind. You think that okay, I have invested with some good team, and now they will take care of my money. No, they will take your money instead. We have seen an example of actress Suchitra Krishnamurthy. She had invested some or deposited some 1 crore or 2 crores in her account, and one day she found that around 25,000 only is available. Remaining amount of all, everything gone, eaten away. So she tried human signature for doing portfolio management, and they had invested in some schemes, amount is lost. So sizable loss also can occur. You need to keep your eyes wide open. You need to have always a feel of where your money is, where they have invested, all those things. Compared to that, I feel that Free Fincal is much, or Such kind of, not only free FinCap, there might be other, this one also. This is one which I know. This kind of, the charge money upfront will be much better. You get expert advice, at the same time, they charge only some lesser amount only. And without getting such professional advice, entering into stock exchange is too risky. You should not go with that Sensex as I shown, the 39,000 to 100,000, 39,000 to 150,000 and all. You will not be getting benefited unless you get expert advice who are professionals in that field. Professionals and committed. That also we need to do. See, if they are looking at the people like how Suchitra lost the money, it will be lost. So you should, you can go with the free FinCal type. Any questions you can ask. Also you can say, mail me also at a later stage if you want to ask something. Now also you can ask.
Sir, one basic question. Can we have two NRE accounts in different banks?
You can have n number of accounts, no problem. Any number of banks, any number of accounts you can have. Even in the same bank, say you are having account with Canara Bank, you can have account in Canara Bank in another branch also. No problem.
The NRO, we have to maintain a particular NRE account bank or different?
Any banks you can have. It can be nationalized banks, it can be private banks as well. Now good private banks like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, all are there. Even that is also fine. But personally, I prefer nationalized banks. Yes. Same bank also you can. Yeah, multiple accounts you can have. The disadvantage of NRO is that the interest is taxable. Wherever you open, it is taxable. If you are opening in multiple banks, you need to give tax residency certificate to all those banks to avail that discount of 10%.
Even the stock trading, there is a NRIs cannot trade in all the stock. There is nothing like that.
There is nothing like that. Intraday trading is prohibited. Any stocks which is available in our stock market, you can trade. Being an NRI doesn't stop you from trading any of this one. Instead of using the word trading, I would like to tell purchasing or selling. That can be done for any of the stocks available. Only thing which is different from the resident Indians and us is that we cannot have intraday trading. That is, morning you buy and in the afternoon if you want to sell. In India it is possible, but as being an NRI it is not possible.
Broker charges there is a difference from NRI account and if we are dealing from NRI or from the Indian currency.
I didn't get what charges?
Broker charges.
Broker charges, there is no difference whether it is NRI account or NRO account. It will be identical. Only thing is that if it is from NRO account, you cannot repatriate. If you sell that stock and if you want to take it back to the country where you are living, it will not be possible. Whereas if you take it from NRI account, you can repatriate. Otherwise, there is no difference.
Thank you, Sudhir. You are doing a very useful lecture. Thank you very much. One more thing. You told me that you have personally invested in Jeevan Akshay LIC, right?
Yes.
Regarding that, I need one confirmation.
Sure.
We have to pay in one time. Is it possible to pay in one time, or we have to pay in slabs?
Jeevan Akshay has only single premium policy. That is only once you can pay.
Okay, once if I pay now, I can get my returns. The pension will be paid after 60 or something like that.
No, next month onwards you will be a pensioner.
We cannot change that. We cannot alter that.
No, it is like an immediate annuity policy. Immediate annuity means next month onwards you start getting. It's good now, you get another source of income.
No, but is there any limit? Is there? We can invest on any amount.
No, there is a lower limit of 1 lakh rupees if you are doing offline. Online 1.5 lakhs. Higher there is no limit. You can invest 1 crore, 2 crores or even more. You know, when the demonetization occurred, there were so many people who invested in this because they found within that time frame it was better to do in this manner. But all those people were caught. The amount, if you have invested from NRE account, when you are staying over here, you have invested in Jeevan Akshay, say 10 lakh rupees, and you are getting the income generated tomorrow, next week, next month onwards, that amount is not taxable because that amount is deposited in your NRE account itself. Though it is in Indian rupee from India, as you had invested with NRE amount, you get that annuity also deposited in Indian rupee in your NRE account. But there is no tax for the NRE accounts, as you know. But once you go back to India, and if you are still getting the pension, then of course it goes like the different slabs are there, no? According to that you need to pay.
SBI life insurance also offering the pension schemes.
Yes.
Different pension schemes they are offering.
Yes. It is the, again, most of the things are market linked. I am not sure whether they are having the assured ones. Assured ones also, sometimes many of the companies, especially the private ones, they give the word assured and all. But actually whether it is having assurance or not, you should be very careful. Because if it is invested in market, if it is unit linked, definitely it cannot be assured.
They are giving two options, one investment and one without investment. Without investment, after 60 years the pension starts.
That is good. As I told, it's a deferred this annuity. Instead of now, you are getting the payment from it after a deferment period of so many years, after 60. That also is fine. There is no harm in that one.
That is a ULIP. What we don't need.
ULIP is again unit link.
I period is a ULIP. That is SBI life insurance.
As he told, there might be two options.
So many charges are there. So many charges are there.
Yeah, if it is ULIP, again there is a risk.
Yes, it's ULIP.
But as he told, there are two options, one for ULIP and for the without investment.
In your experience, which is the most useful investment
You are going to-
income
After retirement, this policy, the Jeevan Akshay.
Your experience?
Yeah, Jeevan Akshay is very good in the sense. Yeah, that is that. But only disadvantage is that you need to invest sizable amount of money now itself, and that depends on your age also. If your age is less, you need to pay more because they need to give you annuity from next month onwards for a longer period. If your age is on the higher side, I think you can invest up to 70 years or something like that. So restriction is there. After 70 years you can invest. 70 years and all, they give you a lot of amount for the same, because they know that normally the longevity will be of say up to 85 years you can take. Whereas if somebody is in 45 years, they need to provide every month after month.
Gold ETF fund they can buy online.
Pardon?
Gold ETF fund. Gold ETF.
Gold if you can buy online.
Online.
Yeah.
On the person.
You need to have that 3-in-1 account, no?
Yes.
That you require. That like it is just like traded in the stock only. You can purchase as just similar to stock you can get. For that you require those 3-in-1 account. That is the source of account, PIS account, trading account, and demat account. The banks, if you go to this, for example, the CAN money and all, when you are in native, you need to open. You cannot open from online, or maybe it is possible. You have to send all those details, hard copy you have to send. So, if you are already having, you can just like any other stock, you can purchase the gold ETF as well.
Regarding this Akshay, Jeevan Akshay,
Yes.
example, some X money we are putting for some terms, 10 years or something.
No, there is no term at all. One-time investment. You are putting X amount. Say you are having 10 lakhs with you. You invest 10 lakhs. Forget. After that, nothing is there. That amount you will not be getting back.
After that, in person's debt reduction,
Yeah.
what will happen to that corpus amount?
This is what actually that if you are having a wife, you are given
nominee.
It's not called a nominee if you have a spouse only. If it's a spouse is available, that amount will go to the spouse. Say 10,000 rupees if you are getting monthly, that 10,000 will go to your spouse. And in the eventuality of both of you are not there, it will go to your nominee. So that 10 lakhs will go to your nominee. Your son or daughter, whoever it is. As a pension, if whatever pension you are getting, that will go. Yeah, there are options available. Like this is the best option what I am telling. There are different options available. Some option is that after your demise, it stops. It goes only to your nominee. Yeah, that is there. Some is that, say if you are getting 10,000 and if you die, only 5,000 will go to your wife. Like that. But best option is you opt for the same amount to be, because over the time inflation and all comes up, so it is always good to have the same amount. Sudhir,
I had a lot of doubts, but the questions what they asked, everything got answered.
good. Any doubts? As I told earlier, you can mail me. Some things I might not be able to answer, but I'll try to get the answer from somebody else, some experts, and get back to you. I thought even in this session that might be required. Fortunately, till now it is not. So, time to wind up. Wishing you all a financially secure future. Thank you. By the way, as I told in the initial this one, totally different from my the career what I am in till now. This is just a trial. Why? Because of the person whom I told earlier. When they returned back, they lost everything, nothing was there. So it should not happen to anyone else. All of us should get benefited with the opportunities where we are now and try to save as much as possible. Thank you.